Welcome back to Satisfactory Update 6. My name is Nilaus, and it is time to start messing with the oil. Here we have our first start of it. This is an oil extractor, and we're going to do some starter oil. So when it comes to oil, there are, first of all, many ways to do it, and once you start unlocking it, you are always caught between a choice between, do I just want to get something going so I can get some plastic, rubber, and some jetpack fuel, and then I can get my jetpack and then be done with it? Or do you go like, no, I need to build it really big. And then you end up spending 10, 15 hours running around without a jetpack, without plastic, without anything, and trying to get what you need. So what I want to do is, in this video, is I want to show you what I think is a really good starter oil build. It starts from a single one of these and overclocked to 300. So that's one pipe full. And then we will be making 100 plastic, 100 rubber, a bit of jetpack fuel, and 3,600 megawatts of power, all from this one. So if you think that's a good starter oil, well, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. I will take you on a magical journey into the wondrous world of oil refining. What a sales pitch, huh? Right, let's start looking at options first. So one of the things that I think is important is that you do need some kind of alternate recipes. Now I already have all of the recipes that we need, but for this part there's one paste that we need. There's one magical one that really triples your fuel output or triples your power output, and that is this one. So you absolutely want this one. This is called diluted packaged fuel. What it does is it takes 30 heavy oil and makes it into 60 fuel at the expense of a dash of water. That is really good. So this is 1 to 2, and normally the ratio is, if you just make it from here, then it's 60 to 40, so it's 2/3. So instead of going from 60 to 40, for example, if we have 150 here, then that would be 100 fuel. But in the other case, if we have 150, then we would have 300 here. So that's a factor 3 on converting your heavy oil into fuel. That is absolutely worth doing, and that's going to be our trick to really cranking things up. Now, if you are very late game, then recycled plastic and recycled rubber are absolutely essential as well. This uses fuel, so combined with the diluted fuel, you can do this recipe here and get super crazy numbers. However, this is not what I would recommend for a starter fuel or a starter oil builder, because you're going to use way too many engines or refineries to do that. So there's going to be a lot more power. You're going to be using a lot of packaging and unpackaging. And later on, when you get the blender recipe that is equivalent to this recipe, except it's in a blender, so it's no packaged, then it's just going to be way better. And that's therefore that's going to be our final plastic build. That plastic and rubber build that we will see later on will be way more efficient. But for now, it's all about getting some plastic and rubber in a relatively simple build. So what we're going to do is we're simply going to make this plastic build. Takes 30 crude oil in. So I'm going to take 5 of these. So I get 150 crude oil in. That gives me 100 plastic, and it gives me 50 heavy oil residue. Remember those numbers. Here, another one here. We take 5 of these. That is 150 crude oil. So total we are using a full pipe, 300 crude oil. And that gives us 100 rubber, and it gives us 100 heavy oil residue. That means we have 150 heavy oil residue that we then put into 5 of these boxes here and gets 300 packaged fuel out that we then unpackage. So that is what we want to do at this point. That means we are going to have to build 10 refineries for the conversion of oil to crude oil to plastic and rubber, and then another 5 refineries to convert the heavy oil into fuel, and then a number of power pole. What are they called? What are they called? These ones, fuel generators. Yes, we can actually support 25 of these. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to build 24 first of all. Then they're always running. But I also want to take out some of the jetpack, some of the fuel, in order to make sure that we have it for jetpack fuel and for trucks if we later on need that. So I'm just going to make it scale a bit down. It will give us here if we see, I will be producing 300 fuel. Each of those fuel generators consume 12. That means I can do 25. And then multiply by 150 megawatt each. That means I can get up to 3,750 megawatt in total. But I'm going to make do with 3,600. Now, this is a lot of power. So if you have been keeping up on the latest episode, how much power is it? It is 30 megawatts for each, and I just said I'm going to need 15, and then I even plus 1, so that's 16 of those. That's a lot. So you can see up here, now that I have unlocked the better belts, here I have Mark IV belts. That means I have upgraded my main line here of coal all the way up, and instead of now having 18 on the lower floor, I have now 16 on 2 floors, and that gives us enough power. Again, I do need to take out the last 2 here because I can only support 32. And let's look at the numbers. I have 32, and they each provide 75 power. So I have 2,400 megawatt of power from this. That should be enough to get the other things going here, the refineries going. So let's get started on the build. So I want to build it. I really like this here on this cliffside, just having this cliffside full of big refineries. So I'm going to build a platform at this location, and we're going to start working on the designs for this. By the way, like the color of my my base, I like it. It's candy factory colored. It'll change later on, but for now, it's a nice color. And now we're up here. We built this platform. This platform is, well, we were standing down here looking up towards the platform. The platform didn't exist, but now it does exist. So at this point, we are going to do one thing and only one thing. This will include 10 refineries, and there will be 5 for plastic and 5 for rubber. Easy to do. And what I want to do as well is I want to show you how easy it is to build refineries, how they match so nicely. First things first, I put my alignment splitter. This is just how I work. And the refinery should be considered as taking 3 tiles here. That's the space for the, and it'll slightly overreach. But if I build it exactly like this, then it'll match very nicely towards the middle here. If you do some, well, you know, either you know it or you'll see it in a second, what I mean. First, we need to see if I can get this aligned here. There. Right, this is going to be very simple, just plastic, 1 in, 1 liquid in, and 2 out, 1 liquid and 1 solid out. What I mean is that if you, for example, have something that's also inbound, then if you build it like this, then this will fit exactly at this location. You can hear? Hopefully you can hear that little click. So this is why I always do that. Now that's not necessary in our case because we don't have that. I will, there. This will be our crude oil coming in. That'll come in. By the way, but for crude oil we have, it's right over here. This is our crude oil. So we'll bring 1 line of crude oil, max it out to 300, build it in on 1 pipe, and then go this way. Now outbound wise, it's also going to be very simple. So let's have a look at that as well. I'm going to be using a merger, and I'm going to assign it here. And check these out. Go up to make a pipe intersection here. And this outbound will be the heavy oil. The heavy oil will then be collected from all these 10 that I'm now going to build and brought up, because I'm going to build it sort of slightly further back and then up. So you can see this is extremely simple to build. Even the power poles are really simple to build. I can just drag them out here and just put them that one. Very, very simple build. So what we're going to do is just make 10 of those so we can proceed with the next and more complicated part. I feel that half the time I spend recording these sessions is waiting for the sun to rise so I can start recording again or start talking again. So here we are. We have gotten a new color. Thank you to the wonderful people over in Twitch chat. And it's a nice new color. A nice, I don't know, baby blue maybe. And we now have 5 of these for plastic and another 5 for rubber. And we have those sort of put out here just to get on with it. And that means we can now go upstairs and start building the next part. Now I built another plateau up here. That's not the best of integrations here. And well, what are we going to do? Because this is really complicated. What I'm going to do is I am going to build a packager. What the hell is a packager? I don't know. It's something that packs things. There we go. That one, it's middle here. So the packager will be taking care of packaging some water coming in. That means I need some canisters. And then I need some water. So I need water coming out on this side here. And I am going to do... There. Jump up. And... jump down. There. So this is going to be water coming in. And then I am going to... We'll come back to this one afterwards. Alright. That's... Ah, man, that's incorrect. This will then be another one. And... 1, 2. I should start with the way I like doing it. By saying here is my... That's my alignment splitter. And then I build my refinery here to match towards my splitter. Come on. There. Because now that is not going to be where I want it. It's going to be slightly to the side. Packager. Because it has to be aligned with... It comes out as packaged water. So it needs to be... First, let's get an alignment splitter in here. And then get the packager. And that looks good, except that it has to be this way. There. Alright, so I am going to build... There, a straight line in. This will be packaging water. So again, water comes out. And this is, again, I think the easiest way to build this is just going up. And... There. Alright, water comes in here. We are not going to talk about how we get the canisters yet. But if we have bottles of water going in, then that will be now over here. We make the diluted packaged fuel. We got the water, 60 water in. That means the level 1 pipe belt is fine. And then we're going to get some heavy oil residue. So again, I am going to do that trick here to get it just a bit above the other one. Here. And there. It's not a 90-degree turn, but it's a 45-degree turn. You could bring it one up, but I actually really like the fact that this, and the next one will be in the same height. Looks really nice. Also, it is exactly the height of this part. So what do we get out? We get some packaged fuel. Well, do we need packaged fuel? Nope, we don't. So what we are going to do is we are going to repackage it, and it comes out of the packager here. So we're now going to take it, and let's get the belts. Packaged fuel goes in. We are going to unpackage the fuel there. That gives us 60 canisters plus some fuel. And this is now where I want to do this again. This will now be our fuel outbound. Fuel outbound. There. And then I have my power. Yeah. And that will go 1, 2 backwards. And then go all the way here. And then go back in. Alright, so what happens now? This requires 60 canisters per minute. This puts in 60 packaged per minute, gets 60 out. And this one gets 60 packaged in and 60 empty out. So there is a closed loop. That means I just need to handcraft them and then put them in, and then that closed loop will take care of itself. So this is now a closed loop. It takes a bit more space, and it does use three machines, and therefore also more power. But on the flip side is that it produces 3 times as much fuel, so it's very much worth it. Water, heavy oil, fuel, and there's a closed loop of canisters running around. But what I also want to do is what if I have this one already? And let's see, I want to build it like this. And I have this already. Come on. Yeah. Now, if I do the same thing, package water, get that in here, get that in here, then this part is actually really convenient for me to use as a as a method of getting jetpack fuel, or just fuel for vehicles, for example, if you want to use those. That's super convenient. That just means that while these out here, this module is a closed loop, this will be an open loop because I will be able to grab something out of it. So I need to make sure that I have a constant production of canisters for this part. And I do know that there will be some who go like, well, you should use steel canisters. I don't have, first of all, I don't have that recipe, so that's not an option. Second, no. Second, I have plastic nearby and I don't mind using the plastic for this. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to produce empty canisters from plastic, and they will just be going in here. This will also allow me to get the plastic, to build those empty canisters in order for me to get the other ones started. Now this will just simply go down, and then if we go below ground here, as we, oh no. Ah, look at that. We caught it. We caught ourselves here. We are going to take the plastic build here and send it upwards. This is, oops. And R to rotate the angle. I don't know if that's the right location, but the idea is good enough, right? It goes in there. So that's another thing. So that means that it'll spit up here, get something in there, and then get jetpack. That means I now have 3 items out. I have plastic, I have rubber, and I have jetpack fuel, because I want to get the jetpack fuel back here. So what I need to do now is build the rest of the top floor and hook up all the pipes, and then hook up the inputs and the outputs. So that is that's going to be a bit of a work to be done, but let's just whoosh away and then go back to the hub and see when it's done. I like this color. This is very nice. And we are back in the hub, and here we have empty boxes. We will be getting crude, we'll get jetpack, rubber, and plastic inbound. I have just happened to have a one that's open, closed, closed. I wonder where this is going. So let's keep a vigilant eye on where we're going here. Go down, like a lot down. This is absolutely gorgeous, this part. And now we have 3 empty belts below us. Whoosh, 3 empty belts, 3 empty belts. And we are now approaching our factory. Whoosh, here we are. And let's have a look. What I've also done is I have changed the colors of the pipes, so that these are now purple when they have heavy oil, and if we go over to this location, they are this blue when they have water, and they are black when they have crude oil, and they are going to be orange when they are not hooked up anything. So what we have now is we have everything completely ready to go. I hope that is definitely the intention. We're just going to go up here just to have a glance up at this floor. Here you will see it much more clearly with the different colors of pipes, how well it works together. Here we have the little hack one, or the jetpack fuel one, going in and going here and making jetpack fuel. The jetpack fuel goes down and goes on one of these 3 belts, along with the hypertube going back to our monstrous spaghetti thing here. It's not actually spaghetti. It's I think that's more like a jellyfish storage, because it looks like a jellyfish up top and then all those tentacles down there. So you can see here, this is the fuel belts or fuel pipes. So I'll have fuel pipes up here, and we will be going, and all the rest of it, if we just go, each of them have, well, they don't have that yet, do they? Nope, they don't. Some of them do, some of them don't. This one has something. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just put all of these in here, there, and then I'm going to get another 100, and then I'm going to be putting it into the next one, and then we can go out and hook up our new oil and water. But let's head out and get our activation for these 2 things, the oil and the water. Get those activated so that we have those available, and we're just going to go jump down here. I have set all of this up, but I have deliberately set it to deactivate it so that it would be sort of enjoyable to see the whole thing switching on like that. Switching on. And if I recall correctly, oh, I should not use that here. We're seeing that stuff is coming in. And I also know that there is still a problem with the holes in the ground. They are still super buggy, unfortunately. So we'll go over here and then we'll come back and fix that. If we look down to this location, there's just room to build one here. That is not powered though. And you go there, and you can go over to that one, and then I will take you out. There you go. You're happy. And then just go to this location and switch it on. Let's see. Come on, water. It's a lot of megawatt of power. 86.6. There you go. It's getting something. And I just need to make sure that it can actually get up there. Yes, it works. And in the meantime, I can do that part. And we go up, and then we follow the water back home. Or back here. And then we'll probably see that the crude oil has not been able to go through this this floor separation. But let's see. Yep, nothing. I don't know what to say. Except, don't use the floor. Ow. Well, that sucked. How did that happen? Yeah, don't use those floor separations. They are still buggy. They were buggy in update 5. They're still buggy. So, and then change the color. The way I'm doing the color thing is by having like a swatch for each of the colors. And that should work now. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. In this case, it works now. And it's pumping. So we can now go up and head on back. And while we're heading back, this is a good opportunity for me to say, as you can see on the right hand side of the screen, I am trying to produce a couple of videos every week, depending on sort of how much progress I make and if I have something interesting to tell. Here we go. Look at that beautiful factory. And also on Twitch, I'm streaming this usually 3 times a week. I want to try 3 times a week. And of course, as you may or may not know, I have a Patreon, and that is basically how I run the channel. I am just hoping that there will be someone who once in a while who will support the channel monetarily, and I really appreciate all the people who are supporting it, supporting the channel, because that is how I keep this channel from just being full of Raid Shadow Legends sponsorships and that kind of thing. But you know, we'd rather do it this way. So thank you to the patrons. And now we get the first bits coming out. Come on, we want to see just a little bit of rubber running on this belt. It's not much. Now, since this is a manifold, you can see the first ones are okay, and then it gets really slow on the last ones coming out. On top of that, we have a production of the heavy oil. The heavy oil is going the other way, which will also take a lot of time. That's just how it is. But you can see that it starts to work. And if we've done it correctly, then the whole thing will work. It'll just take a bit of time. So luckily, we have a lot of other things that will force us to spend some more time, because what we also need is we need fuel generators, and fuel generators need heavy modular frames. I don't have a factory for it. It needs computers. I don't have a factory for it because, well, we don't actually have a factory for making plastic yet, and we need plastic for the computers and even more for the circuit boards, unless we use the silicon circuit board. Let's see, do we have anything? Yeah, we do have just a bit of rubber flowing out, so that's a start. But we will see that it's going to take forever and ever and ever for it to fill up with heavy oil here. So luckily, that time is a good opportunity for me to spend the time on handcrafting 120 computers and 240 heavy modular frames. By the time we have that, we have also accrued some jetpack fuel, and we can unlock the jetpack, and then we can start on the next part, because as you may have noticed, what I'm doing now with the fuel is I'm just leaving it here. It's not going anywhere. And of course I need to put it into 24 of these fuel generators, and they're pretty big. And we also need a lot of rubber for these as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a plateau here. I'm going to build another plateau on top, and I'll be trying to make 12 here, 2 times 6, and then 2 times 6 up here. That is going to be the objective, and in the meantime we'll see if this is working. I will just jump down to see if we can get some more clarity on whether it is working. Well, of course it is working. Like you can see here, this one is saturated, but that means plastic is going to be lacking behind because it's going to take more time for the stuff to reach back. Let's see if I can go through it. Can I? Yeah. Like this one is barely getting anything. It's getting a tiny bit, but it's barely getting anything. And so there we go. This one kicks into gear and starts working. This one's also getting in here. So we are getting plastic. Not a lot, but we are getting some plastic. Some of the plastic goes up. Some of it goes back to the central hub. But the part that goes up goes into, well, hopefully. Let's go over here to see if we are even pumping anything at this point. Are we pumping anything? Yeah, we are pumping something. That's pretty good, actually. And go up here in small bursts. Excellent. So now it's just a matter of letting time pass. And once that time has passed, it is time for us to start building the fuel consumption. Because right now we're just using a lot of fuel and we don't really have. And we have a lot of fuel. No, we're using a lot of power that we don't really have. And we have a lot of fuel that we're not really using. So perfect combination to get some more power going. Really shouldn't be starting now because of the gloominess, but look at these clouds. I've never seen thunder clouds like this in the game. That is insane. This looks so good, the new clouds. But we have sunrise, maybe above the clouds. Sun is always shining. Somehow that moon is in front of the clouds. Don't wonder too much about that. That's just how it is. But look at us. We can fly. Oh, it's beautiful sunshine now. All right, that was a short thunder cloud here, but absolutely looked amazing, that really dark and gloomy place. So here we have our facility. It has been allowed to run for a while, and now another thing has happened, another dangerous thing. This part is now full. I put a few boxes here just to store our fuel so that we could keep running. I have accumulated all the stuff that we have here, and on top of that I will even do this part, public notes. There we go. See, now you can see these notes as well. So what I've done here is I have prepared a bit of an area. There's an area up top and there's an area down here, and that was where we are going to build some fuel generators. And I am there. So I built, this one is purely for positioning, and also on this side, also another one there. I'm giving each of these a 3x3 square to fit into, and I'm leaving just one square open here, not one foundation open. Then all we need to do is hook it up here, hook it up here, hook up some power. I don't know if I should start actually getting the power immediately. I might want to do that because, yes, there. Yeah, you're not hooked up yet. Okay, well, so much for that. And here, I think that will go to that location. And then I will hook it up immediately because we want to run it. And I'm going to hook it up here, and then I have the top floor and the bottom floor as well. And I really want to get rid of this part. I don't really want to have these boxes here. So swish and swish. There we go. We just disappeared somehow. A lot of oil. I don't know how that works, but it works. 1, 2, and going in here. And that should be coming in at 300. Should be coming in at 300. Alright. Yeah. It'll get there. And this is pumping. And we hear the lawnmower sound. The unmistakable sound of a giant lawnmower that produces 150 megawatt of power. I don't know how that works, but it does work. I think the sound is a bit underwhelming, to say the least. That startup sound. We have biters below us. And like this part is pretty simple to build. And oh, typical, very simple to build. And what do? I mess it up. And that is, at this point, I have now 6 on one side, and I'm going to take 6 on the other side. And that will be 12, and then I build again the same thing, one level up as well. Yeah. And here. There. Right, that took a bit of a thing. We're gonna get this part in and hook it up, hook it up, hook it up. Normally I don't hook up these things on camera, but I think it's nice to just see that it's going here. That one and that one. And then on top of that, we have to switch to coloring here. So we gotta make sure that it is easy to see that these pipes are indeed used for fuel. Not turbo fuel, that would be a red color, but just regular good old fuel. Now they're going to be filling up before I power it up. There. So this is ready except for the power, and I will just build the power on the back here. And as we do that, let's have a look at the power already. We should be seeing something coming in. We have a max consumption of 3,200 and a max production of 3,200. That fits pretty well. It's 2,400 from the coal power and then 2 times 150 from this part. So that is good. And every time I do that, I get the lawnmower sound, and another lawnmower is activated, and another lawnmower is activated. And because we build up a little bit of fuel in advance, then they will all start working pretty well. And there should be stuff on the belts here. That's actually interesting. These switch on, but they have nowhere to go. They are not part of... Oh, that's interesting, this part. Alright, move the whole thing. That was not correct. Clipping. There. Alright. That is now... Let's see how much we go. Look at that. Just does switch in on. And I'm going to do the same thing up the next floor, so that we get that online as well. And then we'll have a huge boost of power. That means we get to 3,600 plus 2,400, suddenly 6 gigawatt of power suddenly. All right, let's build this and see. It is done, and it's time to do a bit of a recap. As you see, some of these are not being able to be filled. That is just the nature of things as they are filling up all of the buffers internally. That'll get better, but one of the things that also happens is that these buffers are actually making a bit annoying, because the stuff that comes in will be put in here as well. So it'll try to fill up the buffers even though it shouldn't be. And I don't really want the buffers here. I want to make sure that everything is just running smoothly as it can be, because we are producing here at 300 and we have a ton of power. So let's recap on this whole build here. I will just float out here just so we can see the whole thing. We have our 3,600 power here. We have unlocked our jetpack. We have up here our conversion of heavy oil to fuel. And we have at this point 100 plastic and 100 rubber as well. All of that coming in from just a single extractor and just a single water extractor as well. Yes, they are of course fully saturated, but or fully sharded up so that they are working as fast as possible, but nevertheless this is a very, very efficient starter build. I mean, 100 plastic, 100 rubber, it's not going to get you like big factories, but it'll get you all the stuff you need for crafting, such as the massive amounts of rubber you need for these parts, or plastic you need for, I don't know, canisters for jetpacks, or for just crafting some computers, so we can start working on various other things and unlock more tech. So that is a massive step forward for me. And what we're going to do from here, I don't really know exactly. Maybe heavy modular frames, maybe computer builds, maybe circuit builds, maybe look at some Caterium, some quartz. There are a million things that we want to do. And now we're sort of squarely, firmly inside the was a tier 5-6, and lots of more to be built. I built this over here because now this is just, yeah, it fits very well. The next factories will be built sort of over here on the other side of the hub, and the hub as well needs to be expanded on top of that. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I hope maybe you learned something. Maybe you got inspired on how to build your starter oil build in the future, or maybe you're working on that right now. I am super happy about it. I'm super proud of this build, and well, we'll be continuing this series both on Twitch and here on YouTube as long as there is support for it. So thank you very much for supporting it, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff, joining the Twitch streams, hanging out, just having a good old time, and just enjoying ourselves while we slowly build factories in Satisfactory. But you know, it can be wrapped up into these nice, neat episodes as we see here. So thank you very much. And lastly, thanks to the patrons who are supporting the channel and making this whole thing possible. So until next time, take care, and as always, stay effective.